Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 164 of the Debt Free Dad podcast. So as you guys know, we took a break this past month, and sadly, my wife, Sarah, tragically passed away. And admittedly, this episode is going to be very difficult for me, as I'm sure you guys will expect. But as I navigate this and grieve for my wife and all the things that have come with such a tragic loss, and not only my own grieving, but also helping my own kids through this, I want to just share, even as fresh and as raw as this is still, as we are just kind of only several weeks from when this all happened, because, you know, finances play a role in a lot of this. And not to sit here and say that money is the most important thing during something like this, but it doesn't have to be because of the things that we did over the years and a lot of the things that we talk about on this show. And you know, it's easy, especially at our age. You know, I'm 43, my wife was 42, and it's easy for us, even people who are younger, even maybe people who are older, to sit here and say, like, I don't have to worry about that. You know, those things would never happen to me. Those things would never happen to us. I don't want to talk about it until tragedy happens. And I'm here to tell you that you'll be glad that you did take some of the steps that we talk about a lot on this show. And I just want to talk about it. I just want to be as real and transparent as I can be in this episode. And I'll be honest with you, this is probably not going to be as polished of an episode as we normally do. But I felt being in the moment right now was a good opportunity for us just to talk about it. And I plan to talk about it more and more as this year kind of goes on and we experience this loss of my wife and how this is going to play a role in our finances moving forward and the direction of where I go now. So stay tuned.
You're listening to the Debt Free Dad podcast with Brad Nelson. Brad and his co-hosts experience the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck before learning the fundamentals of financial security. They are now on a mission to empower regular people to pay off their debt for good and enjoy happier, less stressful lives. Keep listening for inspirational interviews, tips, tricks, and practical advice to gain financial freedom.
Hey everyone, as I said, welcome to today's show. You can find us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. As you guys know, we haven't been on any of those in the last month, so don't be surprised if you don't see any new content down there, just with everything that's been going on. But just wanted to welcome you guys back and appreciate you guys hanging in there for the last month without any new content out there. But you guys are still downloading some of the stuff. I was seeing some of the reports. I'm trying to get back to a little bit of work here this week, and it's cool that you guys are checking out some of those old episodes. To get any of the resources, show notes, and links for today's show, obviously, as always, you can head over to our website at balancesense.com/164. That's BALANCEDCENTS.com/164. So as I said, I mean, I don't even know. I told everybody else here why the heck I'm doing this. Like right now, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be on right now. I mean, to be real, the emotion is everything to fight just hiding in a cave. It really, really is right now. And every day I got to battle it that I don't. And part of that is doing this show right now. And but it's going to be hard. You know, when this business started, the only person that really believed in me was Sarah. Believe it or not. I mean, nobody thought that I would create a business that would help thousands of people but her. And she's the reason why this show exists and why this business exists. And I wouldn't be here without her. And it's going to be really tough moving forward. Told you it was going to be hard. Told you guys.
You take your time.
So we did an episode with Sarah. And if you're interested in her story, you know, Sarah was my first client. And she just did so well with getting out of debt. And she became the story that we went off of, you know, to build this business. And we had her on episode 67, if you want to go check it out. It's but she's the one who gave me the passion to do this, and made me feel like I could really, really help some people. And I'm just thankful for her for that, because, you know, to be able to have someone that believes in you. And man, when I didn't even believe in myself, funny story. When I first, a lot of you know, my wife was a pure romance consultant, and she started doing pure romance, and I got introduced to Pure Romance Corporate back in 2016. And they started getting wind that I was starting to help people with their finances. I was speaking to some small groups, and I talked to the CFO over there, Chris Postler, and we were at a training, and like I think it was like, I don't know, it was like March or April, and I walked up to him, and I had that like 5 seconds of courage, and I said, "Hey, Chris," I was like, you know, I'm starting to teach people how to get out of debt. I helped Sarah get out of debt, and you know, she paid off $33,000 in 11 months, and I'm like, you know, is there any chance that you guys would let me help some of your people? Like, I love this. Like, I understand the business. I understand what my wife does. And, you know, it'd just be super cool to be able to help out. And he was like, yeah, that actually sounds really good. And here I am, I'm crapping my pants now, right? So this goes on, you know, for a few months. You know, I went down to Cincinnati where their headquarters is, met with them, and gave them some, you know, presentations on some of the things that we could do. And man, I gotta tell you, I showed up in my grandma's 2002 Dodge Neon. I drove all the way to Cincinnati in that car. And anyways, fast forward, they invite me to a big training that they do. They call it national training, and it's held in August. And at first, when they first invited me, they're like, you're going to do a couple of classes. There'll probably be, you know, maybe 100, maybe a little bit more than that in each class. I'm like, okay, I can handle that. I was doing, you know, small groups of 30 or 40, and, you know, I was kind of getting comfortable with it. And then all of a sudden I get an email from them, and they're like, you know, we made some changes, and one of the classes is going to have over 1,000 people. And I was just like, Sarah, there's no way I can do this. There's just no way I'm going to be able to get up in front of 1,000 people. So funny story, that entire summer, Sarah and I shared an office. That entire summer, I practiced that talk every day, sometimes twice a day, to the point where Sarah had it completely memorized. And she sat up in that office working. Sometimes I look over her and she's got these big headphones on. Oh man. Oh, those were some good memories, man. But yeah, she would have the whole thing memorized. I remember we went to national training, and I walk in that room, and it is a giant room, and I'm just scared to death. And she came up and she said, you know what, you're going to do awesome. And she said, all these people need you. They don't know it yet, but they need you. And, you know, what you have to share with people is really going to help them. And I'm just so thankful for that. You know, without her, I don't think I would have ever done this. I really don't. Sarah was always there, and she just said, you know, hey, you just go for it. You know, you got out of debt. You know, this is why we got out of debt, was to be able to take chances and live the life that we wanted to live and do it the way that we wanted to do it. And to have a partner to support you in that, even when there was no promise of success, you know, I'm going to leave a 14-year career to do this. Man, there's no better gift than that. There really isn't. And so as sad as I am, and as devastated as I am to know that I now have to go on without her, I'm grateful, because she gave me this amazing gift, and it's changed my life. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. So to all you who listen to this show, I appreciate you guys. And for all of you guys who join us, and Ryan and Amber and Chris and Katie, and it means everything to me to run this business. So, all right, let's get into some of the technical stuff, all right? Oh, I need a break. Oh, I told you guys this is going to be tough. But, so anyways.
Well, Brad, can I step in here for a second?
Yeah, sure, Greg. Go. Yeah, please.
if you don't mind. You know, for those of you out there listening, Brad and I met, I want to say it was early 2016, maybe. we were both had gone through
It was 15,
financial coach training together.
2015.
Late 2015. Okay.
Yeah.
And I had just myself started a podcast. We were going through coaching training, and somehow we were connected through one of the, I think we had a mutual coach who was helping us. And I heard probably the very first version of that presentation before you ever gave it. Do you remember that, Brad?
Yeah, slightly. Yeah.
You did it with me over a Zoom call, and you were nervous as could be. I remember the idea of you thinking that you couldn't speak to 1,000 people. And I just remember that whole story, and you've come a long way, and you've been able to help a lot of people, much more so than you probably realize. And I'm thankful that you decided to quit your job. I'm thankful that you decided to go out on your own. I'm thankful that you had the courage to put together a presentation for 1,000 people and had the courage to get up there on that stage. And you've shared with us the story of why that came about. And I'm just thankful that you had somebody in your corner who believed in you well before I met you, well before I'm sure Katie and Amber. Obviously, you knew Ryan. But
did he believe in you, Brad?
Technically, I knew Brad first.
Yeah. Katie's been around for a while, but yeah, I don't know if Ryan did or not. I mean, I think we had some conversations. There were some. I mean, don't get me wrong. There were doubts even in my mind that this was going to work.
I was spending money. Forget that.
But you've made a difference, Brad, and I think that there should be some comfort in that for you.
Yeah,
You've
for
come
sure.
so far. I mean, I remember when you didn't have any of the branding, you didn't have the character, you didn't have the roots of personal finance. I think you had the Balance Sense name. You didn't have Debt-Free Dad, none of that. And how far that you've been able to come, I think is just tremendous. Yeah. And there should be some joy in that for you, is I guess where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely an appreciation there, and it a lot of it just came from having that belief from her that this actually could become a reality and be a real thing that I could do, and now to sit back and think, where do I go from here without her? That's hard. It is so hard. It is overwhelming. It is just I don't even. It takes your breath away, I do not wish this pain on anybody. The loss is it is hard. It is. So to think everything that we have built, was a team effort, and now that half the team's gone, it's just that. Where do we go? And if you're listening to this saying, don't go, I don't have any plans of leaving, right? But I also know, with such a change, it's just it's going to take time for a lot of things to settle. It's going to take, and I'm going to give myself that grace and that time. And if you're listening to this show, there might be some times where we might be running some more replay episodes because of that, because I need to, and I need to be there for my kids. I need to be there for myself. We're all going to therapy. So if you're wondering, yes, we're all going to therapy. We're all getting help. We're all trying to work through this. But I want to respect how deep of a loss this is, and give myself the time to work through it, and figuring out what those next steps are going to be. Because to sit back, never one time did I ever think that I would get on an episode and my wife wouldn't be upstairs taking care of our kids. Just didn't exist. So, what I wanted to at least do with this episode, number one, eventually I will get into, I think, hopefully, what happened. What I will say now is mental health is a very real disease. All right. And I don't want to get into all the details today, just because I'm still trying to wrap my head around things, and but a lot of people play it off, and I gotta say, as someone who has lived it and witnessed it, it is no different than a cancer that takes over a body. It really, really isn't. And I hope to become more of a voice of a survivor, of someone who's gone through this and witnessed it, and because it is a very real thing. And unfortunately, my wife had some very unfortunate circumstances happen with some medications that made her situation even more worse. And it's just a very complicated situation. Mental health is so hard. And when we went to battle, and I went to battle for her because she couldn't battle it herself, I was hit with just such a broken system. I was hit with just so many misdirections and misinformation, and you have to wait and you have to be patient, or, more medication. It was just a complete, and I know we don't swear on this show a lot, it was an absolute shit show. I mean, that is the absolute truth. And it's taking me some time to kind of work through a lot of those emotions, because it could be easy to sit back and take all of this anger and frustration and just take it out on that, and not be able to grieve for my wife in the appropriate way. And I want to make sure that we do that. But at the same time, the system definitely had its flaws and failed her in many ways. So I'll touch on a lot of that stuff, and this is going to be some heavy things, and, obviously kind of mix it in a little bit here and there. But if you're someone who has struggled with mental health, if you have a family member who's struggled with mental health, I'm right there with you. It has been the hardest journey of my life the last 7 to 8 months, going through this with her, and watching this unfold, and trying to do my best to battle for her. And I think mental health, the subject needs to be at the forefront. It really, really does, and it affects so many more people than I think we realize. So let's talk a little bit about some of the technical stuff, and some of the things that I've been kind of dealing with. And I think number one, what's really helped me throughout this is really, from a financial standpoint, is really just all the time that we spent making our finances a priority over the years. Because I got to tell you guys, I can't imagine having done this and going through this with a bunch of debt. Like, I can't imagine sitting here and losing my wife, and then on top of that, losing half of our income, and then trying to figure out 2 car payments, trying to figure out credit cards, trying to figure out student loans, trying to figure out, all of that stuff. Like, I haven't had to worry about any of it. And we were able to get through some really tough situations. My wife did not work 4 months leading up to her passing, so she wasn't making any income. We were able to kind of cut back on all of our savings goals and the things that we were working towards, and we basically just shut everything off, and we went into emergency mode, and we just focused on, our what we call is protect this house. We really just focused on everything that we teach here is like, hey, we're not saving for retirement right now. We're not saving for kids' college. We're not doing anything. All we're doing is focusing on just the necessities. And by doing that, we were able to survive the last 4 months with very little issue. In fact, I like to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back for doing such great grocery shopping, because there was actually a surplus every single month that I was able to put back into our emergency fund as kind of an extra for the next month. And so I can't say it enough. And again, it's not just this situation. Like, a lot of you might know my daughter's situation. When she was born 4 years ago, she was born with HIE, hypoxic ischemic encephalopathy, which basically means that she lost oxygen during birth. She suffered a pretty significant and severe brain injury when she was born. This is the same type of injury that causes like cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and all sorts of really bad stuff. In fact, 40% of kids that are born with this don't even make it out of the hospital. And same thing there. Like, it took months for Sarah and I to get back on our feet after that had happened. And we were able to kind of do the same thing that we're doing now, or that I'm doing now on my own, which was we kind of just went on emergency lockdown. We didn't like save. We didn't do any. We literally just focused on the necessities. We had a lot of medical bills from that. We had to pay a lot of those things off. But we got through it. And the same thing goes through this as far as from a financial standpoint. And I know you guys probably see a lot of like the GoFundMe pages and a lot of the things that are out there, when people go through these major life tragedies or these, major things, and these medical bills are piling up, and medical bills are no joke, right? But, you see a lot of the money being raised for some of these things. Fortunately for us, we didn't have to go that route because of a lot of the work and a lot of the things that we had done over the years. But at the same time, like we always say, being debt-free is great, but it doesn't necessarily make you completely bulletproof, right? It does still get stressful at times, but it's a lot less stress by doing a lot of the things that we talk about here on this podcast. And so, as we always say, this method of handling your money is going to serve you so well in the good times, but it's also going to serve you so well during some really bad times too. I just, I look at it and just say all the choices that we've made over the last 10, 11 years have really helped us not have to stress more about other stuff. Like, I truly am able to take time and focus on my kids. I'm able to take time and go to therapy with them. I'm able to take time, go to therapy for myself. I'm able to just take time and do nothing sometimes because I have no energy to do it. Like, sometimes I literally sit on the couch and I'm like, I feel like I can't do anything right this minute. And so I'm not like feeling like I got to go back to work today. I got to go make more money. Like, I don't have to because of a lot of the things that we have done over the years. So by doing these things, and again, nobody wants to think about these things happening to them. Nobody wants or expects that this is going to happen. I never expected it to happen. I'm still in complete shock, believe it or not, that this is even my life right now. But the fact that I don't have to sit here and worry about my finances is just a huge weight lifted off my shoulders of one less thing that I have to worry about right now. The other thing, and you guys could talk about this, but I think this is a big one. I hear this one a lot, but if you can get it, you need to get life insurance like right now. If you do not have life insurance, if you do not have it, it should be on your list this week to get it if you can get it. Now, what do I mean by if? Well, if you're healthy and you don't have like a pre-existing condition that causes you not to get it, but if you can get it, get yourself some life insurance. We suggest term life insurance. It's cheap. It's typically inexpensive as long as you're relatively in good health. But think of it as a way as if your finances are already stressing you out right now take one of your incomes away or your income away if you're the only one bringing in money, right? Maybe you're a single person, you're taking care of your kids. Things are going to be very stressful when that happens, right? And a lot of people don't try to avoid life insurance because they might be afraid of death or they might be afraid of, if I talk about it, it'll happen. But at the end of the day, it's not really about the person who gets the life insurance. It's about the people that you're leaving behind at the end of the day is who the life insurance is really for. It's for your family. And it's like giving them a big giant hug like, hey, if something happens to me, I don't want you guys to have to worry about money so much, right? Give your guys yourself time to heal. Give yourself time to get back to your life or whatever it might be. But don't delay on getting life insurance. This is probably one of the... I'm so thankful that we did it. We got it like 9-10 years ago, and we've had it in place because of these reasons, because of that just what if, right? In fact, I'm going to be going through this again myself because now I'm a single parent. I've got 2 kids, and if something happens to me, I want to make sure my 2 kids are taken care of and whoever is going to be taking care of them, right? So it's easy to sit back and say, oh, I'll just wait and do that later. No. This is on my list over this next month or so to get taken care of right away. I want my will updated. I want my power of attorney updated. I want my durable power of healthcare updated. I want everything updated. What's going to happen if something happens to me? Because I'm living it right now, and it can happen at any time, anywhere. And you have to just make it a priority. I know it's not fun stuff to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's necessary.
Yeah, and it's not fun to talk about, but just being with you over the last few weeks and then coming home and being with my wife. I mean, these are questions we had. These are discussions we had. It was just kind of a gut punch of like, you just don't know, right? I mean, like you said, it could happen at any moment or any time. And so there was a number of these things that we're talking through today that we're just like, we need to get on this because some of these have been 100% like, we're fine. Like it's not, it's no big deal. It's, we'll do that, next year or, 6 months down the road. And then it's another 6 months down the road and you just keep pushing it off. Cause you just assume
Right.
nothing's going to happen.
Right.
And I know I'm single. I don't have kids, but I also had a whole lot of debt that I didn't want to leave that on my parents or my sister and their family. So, I mean, I took it was $16 a month or whatever for a pretty decent policy. So, yeah, I totally agree. I didn't want to leave an extra burden on them. And student loans do not go away even if you die. So you have to still pay those back. And luckily mine are gone now. But
yeah,
2 months ago they weren't. So
yeah, and you bring up the premium. I mean, it's for most people, it's skip going out to eat once a month and give your family that what if blessing if something were to happen. Because it happens. It happens more than, I mean, you guys see it. I mean, you see it on Facebook. If someone passes away, they're raising money for the family, right? Because there was no life insurance, and I've seen it multiple times, and I've worked with people that deal with it, and it is so devastating from a financial standpoint. So if you can get life insurance, make sure you check that out. Also, when it comes to like things like beneficiaries, make sure you're updating those. Like go on your retirement accounts, go on your bank accounts even. Make sure you're updating your beneficiaries on a regular basis. Like for me, I had a first marriage that ended in divorce. So when Sarah got on me about this because my wife or my ex-wife at the time was still a beneficiary of one of those accounts like 2 years after that had happened. And I didn't even think about it, but you tend to just forget, I have to update some of those things, right? So make sure you're updating any of your beneficiaries on any of your financial accounts. Like call your bank, who your beneficiaries are, make sure all of that stuff's in line, and just do it on a regular basis and especially if there's any major life changes. That's when you got to really make sure. And then lastly, as far as things I just want to hit on today is make sure you have a will. Make sure you get yourself a durable power of healthcare, a power of attorney. And as I said with the life insurance, make it a priority right now. I mean, essentially a will is, and a durable power of healthcare is an instruction manual for your family on what you want. And again, it's easy to say, like, for instance, I'll give you an example right now, what I'm struggling with as one of these kind of last kind of big things I have to figure out is where to place my wife's remains. We had a lot of discussions about end of life. She wanted to be cremated. Like, I knew all of those things, but I know we talked about it, but I don't remember, like, where specifically she said that she would like to be. And it's not written anywhere. So now I'm sitting here, and I know she's probably just laughing her ass off. Like, why are you caring about this right now? Who cares, right? But to me, I'm thinking about, like, all of the things like, okay, well, where do we put her, number one? Number two, where would she like to be? Number three, does anyone else have a need to maybe feel like they need to go visit her? Because death is different for everybody. Like me personally, and people may not agree or disagree with that. I don't really care. But me personally, like, I don't have the need to go visit people who have passed away. Like, my mom's ashes were spread down in Florida. And when I go visit my dad in Florida, I've been there one time in the last, I don't know, Ryan, when did mom pass away? 14, 15 years ago now?
15 years ago.
15 years. So I don't go there. I don't feel the need to do that because I feel like my mom's always with me. Like, I don't feel like I have to go there to talk to her. Some people do, though, right? And so for me, my daughter's only 4. Sarah and I's daughter's only 4 years old. So when she gets older, I'm thinking, like, I don't feel the need, but what if she does, right? It would be really easy if Sarah would have just said, do this, and here it is in writing, right? Because it takes all the questioning out of it. It takes everything out of it. But 99% of the stuff that I had to do after she had passed away, it was easy because we had the discussions. We had a will. I knew what she wanted, and it made it super simple. But I can see where someone who may not have any of those discussions, how agonizing and almost like a punishment it could be if you don't have any of those answers about what your loved ones wanted. Because now you're sitting here having to decide for somebody who you don't really have any clear answers from. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing along with updating some of my wills and stuff is having an extra document in that will of saying, hey, this is exactly what I want for the funeral. This is exactly what I want served at the funeral. This is exactly what I want you to do with me after the funeral's done. Like, I want it just done. Like, I don't want my family to have to sit here and worry about things. I want them to be able to get through it, maybe shed a tear for me, and get back to life, right? That's me, though. But other people are different. But I think it's important for you to talk to your family about what you want. Take the time. That's what a will is for. Durable power of healthcare is obviously instructions on how you want yourself handled if for some reason you become incapacitated, right? Obviously, power of attorney. If you become incapacitated and someone needs to handle your finances, Ryan is mine, right? He's my backup now. So, if something happens, I want someone to be able to come in and say, I'm taking care of his stuff, and I trust them to be able to do some of those things, right? You see, when you don't have any of these things put into place, it makes the entire thing a complete mess, and it makes the whole thing so much harder. And it could all be avoided by, yes, getting through some yucky, gross, disgusting questions. But man, I can tell you, having gone through it these last few weeks and going through it now, it's made a huge difference in the fact that I can focus on the important thing, which is, grieving for my wife, being there for my kids, trying to figure out what these next steps are going to look like, especially early on right now. I don't have to worry about all this other nonsense because Sarah and I took care of a lot of this stuff by doing some of this stuff early on.
Can I throw in something here, Brad?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think in addition to the things that you've talked about here is a list of bank accounts, bank account numbers, passwords. Obviously, if you have debt, everybody that you're in debt to, those account numbers, those logins and passwords, because your spouse may need that information. Or what if, say, something happens to both of you? And now, in our case, our daughter, she's going to be 31. She's the one who knows where we have a list. Now, I need to update it. This is reminding me that I need to go through and update some of it. But she knows where all that list of accounts are.
Yeah.
And I don't typically write passwords down, but I've got a spreadsheet that is printed that I keep all of that information, logins, passwords, account numbers, and as most recently as possible, the updated information, what type of account they are, those types of things. Should something happen, to both my wife and I, our daughter in this case would be the one who would know where to go to find that information, to know what banks to go to, what, retirement accounts to look for, life insurance, where to find the information for that, health insurance information, any of that type of stuff. I think it's good to just provide that for your spouse and anybody else who might need it. So for example, in your case, having that information for Ryan, if he's the one who's going to be the guy,
right?
Having that where he knows where to come get it. And I think that kind of transcends all of these things. If you've got debt, once you get out of debt, that's less information that you have to leave for somebody, and it makes it a little cleaner and easier for people. Particularly if you're debt free, it's sort of a roadmap. And that's just one thing I think I would add to this list.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think, like you said, the key is keeping it updated. But, even without, passwords and all of that stuff, as long as, if you got a POA, and you're the, what do they call it? When you're in control of the executor. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's the word. You can still be able to get access to some of that stuff and get through some of those things. But for sure. So you're kind of talking more of like, what do they call it? Like a legacy drawer, kind of like all of your stuff in one place, and they know exactly where everything is. Those are the things I just want to share today. And, I know these things are easy to ignore, but as someone who's, like I said, it's someone who's going through this as raw and fresh as this is, I think it brings the importance that this can happen at any time and at any age. And, it's just all part of this financial stuff that we talk about, and just having a plan for really bad things that can happen like this. So the Totally Awesome Debt Freedom Planner is helping so many people make consistent progress with their finances. Whether that be building emergency funds, paying down bills, budgeting, tracking paydays, saving up for larger purchases, goal planning, and planning for those irregular yearly expenses that always seem to catch you by surprise. Now, the Debt Freedom Planner will help you take the stress out of managing your money. And if the thought is running through your mind, hey, I just need to have a simple tool to get my finances together, this planner is perfect for you. Head over to therealdebtfreedad.com, click on the Debt Freedom Planner in the menu at the top of the page, and order your Debt Freedom Planner today.
Let's talk about that, baby. Let's talk about your money. Let's talk about all the good things, all the bad things that may be. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
And that sound means it's time for the celebrations of the show. First, we have Mary Southern, vet visit with cash, bought myself some new sandals for summer with cash.
Awesome. There you go, Mary. Congratulations. Samantha Hubbs, I stuffed envelopes for the first time. And I also paid cash for groceries for the first time and stayed under budget. Samantha, those are some great wins, great budgeting wins for sure.
And Amanda Lepek went to the concert this week and only took cash and left the cards at home, so she wasn't tempted, and stayed under what she budgeted for the night.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Awesome job.
And Tina,
Carrier.
Yep.
All right. Paid off all her credit cards. So now to keep the balances at zero, which we know can be difficult sometimes, but looking at canceling one of them as well. Way to go, Tina.
Yeah, there's no better feeling than debt free is awesome, but just being credit card free is a pretty awesome accomplishment. So awesome job, Tina.
Huge deal.
And Reese Robert, everything paid and budgeted, oil change, cash from the sinking fund, vet bill from the sinking fund, all budgeted and saved for the events.
Yeah, awesome job, Reese. And congratulations to all of you guys. And thanks again for hanging in with us here this last month as we did some reruns. And we're going to be back and doing some regular episodes. And I appreciate you guys just hanging out. And I know it's a tough episode to talk about. And I'll be talking more about this as the year goes on. And I'm kind of looking at it as therapy, so to speak. It'll be good to open up and share a little bit about what we've been doing over this journey. So if you guys are just getting started with our podcast, or maybe you've been listening for some time and you're interested in how you can get started on the road to financial freedom, head over to our website at balancesense.com. Sign up for my free Life Without Payments workshop, where I'm actually going to show you the first steps that have helped tens of thousands of people just like you and I kick financial stress and worry for good.
Thanks for listening to the Debt Free Dad podcast. Connect with us on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Brad Nelson Debt Free Dad. If you found value in today's episode, please leave a rating and review. We so appreciate it. For resources, show notes, and links mentioned in today's show, visit balancedsense.com. That's balancedsense, CENTS.com. Catch you next week.